Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a new complete Ravel piano music, Ravel complete piano music, solo piano music, that is, by the Chopin Competition Award winner from, 2015? Seong-Jin Cho on Deutsche Grammophon. And how is it? Well, it's okay. I mean, it's not bad. Cho has amazing technique. I mean, fabulous physical dexterity. His repeated notes in like Scarbo and Gaspard la Nuit or Alborada del Gracioso. Oh my goodness! Can he make those little notes flick by? I mean, really, he can play at amazing tempos. However, with that said, this strikes me as somewhat immature playing, even though it was 10 years ago that he won the Chopin Prize. What I mean by that is he has a tendency. Let's talk about the individual pieces, or at least the major individual pieces. Oh, here they are. Okay, so let's take the Pavan. The Pavan for a Dead Princess. Remember the wonderful comment Ravel made to a pianist who said, "Hey, how'd you like that?" And Ravel said, "I wrote a Pavan for a dead princess, not a dead Pavan for a princess." Well, this Pavan tends to die a little, and it shows exactly what the issue is. It's those minute hesitations, the tendency to micromanage the melodic line. You know, Ravel's style is in some respects a classicist style. And it relies on a certain purity. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's purity, innocence, simplicity. And the more you muck with it, the less natural it sounds, and the less effective. And this Pavan, I think, has, it never quite, let me put it this way. You just want to like slap him upside the head and say, "Oh, for heaven's sake, just play the thing." You know, just straight out. Don't do anything. Just play it straight. And usually it works because Ravel is that kind of a composer. If you play it the way it's written, it's all there. It's going to sound fabulous. So that is a problem that recurs throughout these performances. In the sonatine, for example. The sonatine, the very opening of the sonatine, you know, the melody is buried in the accompaniment. I mean, you know, just bring the tune out a little bit. You know, that's what your right hand's for. It's not a problem. And then in the Miroirs, well, you have wonderful things. I mean, Un barque sur l'océan, oh my God, is it gorgeous. I mean, it is so poetic. The waves are lapping at the boat. And, gosh, it's wonderful. He should play like that all the time. But that's a particularly sort of fuzzy and impressionistic piece. Alborada del Gracioso is also very good, as I mentioned. You know, it's a little quick, I think, a little bit too quick. I prefer performances with more accent. They're a little spikier, where the dissonances have a little bit more crunch, a little bit more tartness to them. But with that said, it's a beautiful performance. The Valley of the Bells is poetic and mysterious and atmospheric. I mean, so he's got the chops and does some terrific stuff. I mean, there's no question about it. Then we get to Gaspard de la Nuit. I think, well, Ondine is just too fuzzy. I know it's another water thing, but it's not. It's not Un barque sur l'océan. I mean, it's a little bit different. The water has to be clearer. There has to be sort of an undercurrent of menace to the whole thing, and it just takes a while for its profile to become clear. In Le Gibet, the middle movement, well, I find this performance too pretty. It just lacks atmosphere. You know, I mean, it's a grotesque image. It's a corpse hanging from it, you know, like this little spider coming down. You know, I mean, it's really got to creep you out. And this is not creepy. It's pretty. It's pretty, and I guess you could call the prettiness poetic. But that's not what that music's about. And Scarbo, well, the Scarbo is very discontinuous. I mean, the music is supposed to be discontinuous, right? It jerks around. It's very grotesque. It stops and starts. But the way to make that work is to emphasize the discontinuity. In other words, you know, it has to surprise you. It's flashes of color and scurrying movement. And you have to have a wide dynamic range. Here, it's all kind of muffled. Again, there's a tendency to promote prettiness of tone above, sort of the glint and gleam and dissonant harshness that Ravel builds into the music as well. Then we come to, all the little pieces come, I'm not going into those, but it's the same issues, pluses and minuses, and all of them. The next big work is Le Tombeau de Couperin, which I just adore. And the opening prelude is typical of these performances. It has no dynamic range, or very limited dynamic range. It's all on one level. And it needs to burst, when the piano rises into its upper register. There has to be this surge of brilliance before it returns to its more placid opening. The toccata too. The toccata, dum ba da dum ba da 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 da. You can have so much more profile, a much stronger rhythm and edge to the tone. The playing as such is lovely, and if this approach is something that you enjoy, then you won't find much to quibble with. But I just think a more natural, more literal reading of the music would be, a little bit better. Let's just say it straight out. Better. That's what we want. We want better. If you listen to my reference recording, Abby Simon, for example, that's what you get. Very similar tempos, but oh my goodness, more dynamics, more bite, more rhythm, a little bit more détaché between the notes, which just gives a feeling of air and whatnot. Ravel was not really an impressionist. You know what I mean? He was not somebody who was into blurriness. And these performances are a little bit blurry, in my view. So, not bad. Very, very talented pianist. Some exquisite moments. But on the whole, you can do a lot better in this music. So that's the way I feel about it, and I think probably a lot of you would agree. I will say one thing. Excellent notes by Jed Disler, our very own, who has recused himself from reviewing this set, and quite rightly so, because he is the note writer. So that left it to me, and I hope I haven't disgraced disgraced him by taking over his role in the piano world for a moment, at least as far as this set goes. We're going to see a lot of this for the Ravel anniversary. We're going to find a lot of, I think, very good but not terribly great performances, which is to be expected, I think, right? That's what we're going to get. High level of technical facility, perhaps not the most satisfying, especially given the competition. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.